War. War never changes.
What's up, wastelanders? Boys and girls, prepare to be astounded, bedazzled, and otherwise stupefied.
You talk a lot. Sound funny when you talk like a stupid human. I am online once again. Tremble, world, before my electric heating coil of doom.
What's up, Wastelanders? Hello and welcome to Tapes from the Wastes, a Fallout fan podcast bringing you all things Fallout talk, Fallout chat. I always struggle with this intro. I don't understand. Been doing this podcast for a few years now, and for some reason, I don't have this scripted and written out, just so you know. There's a little bit of a peek behind the scenes. I used to have the intro nailed. Now I start saying it, I don't know what I'm saying. But you know what it is. It's a Fallout podcast. Fallout gameplay talk, Fallout lore, news, and all that kind of stuff. All things Fallout. You know the drill. Yes, hello, how are you? How is everyone? It's been a little while since our previous episode, but you know, as always, life gets in the way and stuff. But it is an exciting time to be a Fallout fan. There's lots going on, lots to talk about, and we're here today. I'm not going to do a massively long intro because just have a quick section to get through because this is a special community conversation episode. Eric has recorded a huge segment for the show with two Fallout friends, fellow Fallout players, Wanya and Caterella, for a chat about all things Fallout, and specifically there's some talk about modding and real life fasnacht, which I think you're all going to enjoy. So I didn't get to participate in the conversation myself, as always. I appreciate Eric being my other foot in the Fallout fandom and kind of embedding himself in the community in ways that I often find myself not having time to do. So yes, huge thank you to them both for joining us for the show today, and I hope you enjoy the conversation that's coming up very, very shortly. Before I get to that though, a quick check-in from me. So where are we? What's going on? We are basically on the eve of season 20 for Fallout 76, but this is a big season. As we've touched on before, we have the Ghoul update coming. The season is called Glow of the Ghoul, which, you know, if you're a 76 player, you'll be fully aware of this. Everyone's quite excited. Well, most people are excited. It's coming out, I want to say 18th. Is that right? What is it today? It's the 11th of March today. So I've got the website here. Yeah, season 20, Glow of the Ghoul, starts March the 18th. So just quickly, I wanted to touch on that and what I've been doing, and then I'm going to hand over to Eric. So Fallout 76, I mentioned on the previous episode that this update that's coming is the thing that is bringing me back to 76, because I've kind of jumped in very briefly a couple of times here and there, but I haven't been, you know, I'm not like a scoreboard, it's not a scoreboard anymore, is it? I'm not a scoreboard completionist or season completionist. I just kind of play when I'm on some downtime with other games and things like that. And recently, a lot of my gameplay time has been taken up by things like Cyberpunk and Avowed, so I haven't really been playing Fallout, except until this past week. So as I mentioned on a previous episode, I'm very excited for this new update. It's going to bring me back. I can't wait to ghoulify my character. I have two characters. I actually now have three, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But yeah, this update, I'm not going to break down the whole thing. I mean, I think, you know, lots of people have done that already, but we have the update coming where you can turn your character into a ghoul, is the long and short of it. And they're going to be adding, it's just a few things on the website here, new rewards to the season, of course. What else is exciting that I saw? Mothman Equinox is coming up in April as well. And basically, it just feels like this season is, this is one of the big season drops that a lot of people are excited for. And as I said, it's bringing me back. Like, as you all know, I'm a huge Fallout fan, but I don't play it all the time. I definitely don't play it as much as Eric does these days. But this is bringing me back. How could this not bring me back in? So yeah, head to the Fallout 76 website to get full details on what's coming in this season. They've also got this, let me just look. Yeah, Fallout 76 guide to playing as a ghoul, which is cool. I mean, I guess explaining to people, you know, so you've got the perks of being a ghoul. What's so cool about being a ghoul? Like, I've glanced at this, but I almost don't want to read it all, because I kind of just want to dive into the game with the update for myself and experience it for myself. But if you're curious about what this might mean, you know, if there's no going back once you do it and all that kind of stuff, go and check out the website. And yeah, come and take the plunge with us as we ghoulify Appalachia. So I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. And I have already been playing Fallout 76 this past week, which I've alluded to. There is also, what was the other news? Yeah, so there is some other news. Now, this isn't official news. I just wanted to touch on it, though, because in the last few days, all over social media, there have been set photos and set videos of Fallout, the TV show, Season 2. Now, as we've made very clear on this show before, we don't really boost or cover leaks and unofficial news and stuff like that because, well, I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating because if you don't cover it and you don't talk about it online, you kind of get left out of the conversation, because generally most people do. And it's not my job to protect the sanctity of the production of the Fallout games and the Fallout TV show. That is not my job. Maybe I shouldn't care so much, but I do care. I don't really want to be spoilt with leaks and set photos, so I just wanted to acknowledge them. Like, I see them. If you're like me and don't want to spoil yourself, just be mindful of that. Be careful where you're looking online, but there is really no escape. You've probably seen it. There's some Fallout Season 2 stuff out there. It hasn't dampened my excitement for the show, really. I'm still super hyped for when that comes back, which will be probably next year. But I wanted to make it seem like we're not putting our head in the sand. I have seen it. There's just not really much for me to say about it. We don't really cover the leaks and unofficial stuff. We just stick to the official stuff. But I know they're there. So that's that out the way. Right, what else? So, yes, as I mentioned, I have been playing some Fallout, which I know for the last few episodes has been a rare occurrence. I like to play lots of games. Everyone knows this. But there's a very specific reason I've been playing lots of Fallout. Lots of Fallout. It's because I've got a new PC. People that follow me on social media, on BlueSky, which I now is where I do my general posting on, because the other place, we all know, don't need to go over it. I was looking the long and short of it was we needed a new PC at home, kind of for family use, for me, my wife and my son, his homework and things like that. And I had been, just before Christmas, eyeing up potentially getting a cheap laptop for this. That didn't happen. We had like a car repair bill, which just had to be a priority. So I put that, on the back burner. And then the last few weeks, it's been coming around again where we really need this new machine. And I thought, right, rather than the laptop, maybe we'll just spend a little bit more and just get a PC, like a home, a tower for the home. And that'll sort it. So I got my buddy James from First Aid Spray to kind of pre-approve a PC for me, because he's the PC guy that I know. And I was like, look, I just want a PC that's going to be multifaceted, broad use. I don't need it for high-end 4K gaming or anything like that. I would like to use it for some gaming, but I just wanted to use it for Steam indies and GOG classics, old games, because all the new stuff I can play on my console, play on the Xbox. I'm perfectly happy doing that. And on my nice TV in the lounge. And so, I picked out this pre-made budget PC. I literally just typed in gaming PC on Amazon, and I think it was one of the first 5 results. It was like 500 quid, mid-range. I had no idea what the architecture was and what it was inside it. I showed it to James and he was like, yeah, this will do you good. It's fine. You can play all your old games on that. It's fairly decent. I was like, cool. And so got it, set it up. Fabulous. I generally use Macs begrudgingly, for work. So I haven't really used a fresh new Windows computer for a long time. Loving the functionality of Windows 11 and all that kind of stuff. And so I started to test some games on it, installed the Xbox app, thought, right, how do we start this? The first game I actually installed was the original Fallout on Game Pass. So, and I mean, not Fallout 3. I mean, the original Fallout, the PC game from back in the day, which I've only very slightly dabbled with. And I was like, great, I can finally play this 20-year-old game or whatever it is. Of course, that ran fantastic. For those who are into PC architecture, just so you know, it has a GeForce RTX 3050 graphics card in it. And I have no idea what that means, but apparently it's very mid-range and suitable for HD gaming. Cool. So yeah, I tried the old Fallout and I thought, hey, yeah, great. Why don't I just maybe install Fallout 4? Because on the Xbox Game Pass app, it says should play great on this PC. And I thought, okay, let's check that out. Because as far as I was concerned, I couldn't play anything, from the past 15 years or something. I thought I was just buying a really basic PC that even though it calls it a gaming PC, I didn't think I could use it for much gaming. But no, to my absolute joy, I installed Fallout 4, ran like a dream, and that really got me excited. Installed Skyrim, ran like a dream. Installed Oblivion, Fallout 3, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I'm playing all these PC games, running like a dream, and I'm in heaven. I don't need to play brand new release 4K ray tracing bollocks. I don't need that. That's not what I got this PC. But in terms of giving me a fresh experience for Fallout and the games I love, it's doing it. I'm going through Fallout 4 and popping achievements, and it's just, yeah, it makes the game feel brand new. So that's really, really cool. And then, ladies and gents, I installed Fallout 76 on my PC, and it runs great. So I'm officially a PC gamer as well as an Xbox gamer. Have a new character on Fallout 76, which I've started. I got to experience the new kind of onboarding of 76, which I hadn't ever seen. So where you can leave the vault and jump straight to level 20 and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm buzzing for Fallout right now because I'm replaying the old games. Just, not the whole way through. I'm not going to commit to the whole thing, but just jumping in, exploring around, the new dynamic of a PC, and the new character of Fallout 76. It's been brilliant. So you can probably hear the happiness in my voice. And it just gives me that, because I only ever had my Xbox really to play the games on. Now I've got the alternative of the PC in a different room. Cloud gaming as well, of course. So I can use the PC as a kind of cloud machine if I want. And yeah, very, very excited for the upcoming Fallout 76 update. Just replaying some more Fallout. We've got a big anniversary this year. This year, 2025, is 10 years since Fallout 4. So yes, looking ahead to that. We're definitely going to be covering that on the show. Right, enough rambling from me. I'm going to hand over to Eric and our esteemed guests today. Thanks as always for listening. I'll be back afterwards to wrap up the show. Till then, take it away, Eric, aka Sulio.
Welcome everyone to a very special episode of Tapes from the Waste, a Fallout fan podcast. My name is Eric, aka Sulior, and I have not one but two guests with me today. I have Vanya and I have Caterella. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right, thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah, doing good.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear that. So, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about with you guys here tonight. But first off, I'd like to get to know, anytime I have a new guest on the show, I'd like to kind of get to know you guys a little bit first, introduce you guys to the audience. So, Vanya, we'll start with you. How did you get into gaming and how did you get into Fallout?
So my father used to work for Apple in the 80s and 90s, and so we had computers basically since I grew up, and hence video games were also a factor very early on. And so I think the first PC game I actually played, because we always had computers, was something Lego related, and then later we had Lego Racers, infamously, very famous game, very good one. And yeah, from there it went on to the Tony Hawk's games, later a few shooters, and mostly racing games over the many years. And then one day, I had a girlfriend back at the time who was obsessed with Fallout. and I just couldn't get the idea of it at all until she sadly passed. And I bought Fallout 4 as it was freshly coming out and was very interested. Okay, what about this Fallout thing? And I fell in love with it. Like, I truly started to love that universe because I think Fallout 4 is a very great intro for those who didn't know Fallout hereupon, you know, of like what it actually is and like from what kind of time period this is viewed at and all these factors. And so, yeah, that's how I ended up in Fallout 4 and later, of course, also 76 when that was announced and released.
Why do you think it didn't land with you first? Was it just like the atmosphere, or what about it just didn't click initially?
Well, first and foremost, I had Fallout 3 in my possession, but back then we had the Games for Windows thing that didn't work at all, so you couldn't make proper save files and whatnot. So that was one factor. And the other factor is that a lot of the bullies in school that bullied me were big Fallout fans. And so I couldn't identify with Fallout at all.
Nice. Yeah. Jeez. You know, I started off with Elder Scrolls. Like I was living with a couple of guys, and one of them had a 360, and I tried Hitman. I think it was Hitman Blood Money, and I got through the tutorial. That was it. So I'm like, all right, what else you got? So I saw Oblivion. And so years later, everybody's like, "Oh, you know, you're a big Bethesda fan. Do you like Fallout? Have you played Fallout?" I was like, "No." Okay, fine, I'll try it. And never put it down. What about you, Kat?
Yeah, so wow. My dad also worked kind of in the field with computers, so I always grew up with computers as well. My first game, if we're excluding arcade games, would be Doom. I grew up playing Doom on floppy disk, which I know I have somewhere still.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I grew up playing a lot of that. My dad, you know, when I was really young, he was single, so it was just the two of us, and so that was kind of what we bonded over. Was Miss Pac-Man and Doom.
Miss Pac-Man is I prefer that over like regular Pac-Man.
Yeah. And Tron, of course, you know, whenever it was free at the arcade, which was not often. Yeah, and then Fallout 4 came out, and I wasn't really playing anything at the time. I'm a huge BioShock fan.
Ooh, yes.
And so it was kind of like a natural segue for me. All my friends kept, you know, messaging me about it and, you know, telling me, hey, this is kind of similar to BioShock. You should give it a try. So I did, and it's not quite similar to BioShock, but I get where people made
the vibe's totally different, but yeah.
I wasn't going to argue. I can see how they saw it. You know, the aesthetic of this dystopian universe is similar. So yeah, I played Fallout 4, and then when 76 came out, I played the beta, and then dropped Fallout 4.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't get in initially. It was like 2013 to 2014. Like, I got Fallout 4 when it first came out, but my computer was not good enough to play it, so I wasn't able to play it until about it was like not too long before Wastelanders. It was a few months before that I upgraded my PC, and I finally got to play Fallout 4. But I did get to see 76 a little bit before there were NPCs running around. So it's so much different now, and I really wish that people would actually give it another shot that maybe weren't, you know, like bounced off of it initially. But no, it's cool. Like, you guys both like had parents in like the PC world. That's really cool. So yeah, that's really cool. Like, I did play like Doom back in the day, and mostly Wolfenstein. Like, I had this like one of those like really big floppy disks, not like the smaller like 3 or 4 inch ones, like the really big ones that had Wolfenstein. And then I also had some, I guess they would have been mods. Like, there was like a skin for Wolfenstein that had them as like Street Fighter characters. Like, like there've been mods around forever.
Yeah, for literally ever.
We'll definitely be talking about it soon. But recently in 76 we had fasnacht. How was your guys' luck with it? No.
Kat, you want to start first?
I think I played more than you. I had pretty good luck. I don't tend to go super crazy.
No,
for
I
max
never
hunting.
AFK or anything like that, but I try and get.
I tend to play more for just hanging out with people and having
Yeah.
fun. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Like,
That's the best part with fasnacht. You'll run into people that you haven't seen in the game for months,
In
and they'll
months.
just like come out of the woodwork. for it.
yeah. And then they always show up on your server, and it's like, everybody gets all excited and we're all
Yeah.
emoting to each other. I love that.
Yeah,
I
that's
did,
what fasnacht and Meat Week is all about. Is
yeah, I
just
did come
people.
through with a jackalope mask,
Awesome.
which
Yeah,
I did
that's the best
want.
one in my opinion.
Yeah, and then all the flower boxes. I really wanted the flower boxes more than the
Those are cool. They've got butterflies that'll fly around them. It's not
Ew.
just flowers. Yeah.
I do.
So cool. Yeah. And now you can't nuke Helvetia, which is nice. But that also does mean that people aren't afraid to hide the fact that they're AFKing anymore. Which, no shame if you need to, work gets in the way, life gets in the way, and you like I was talking to Shreds about this because I hang out with the Gatos, and she has an idea. And if Bethesda, if you're listening, I really hope that you incorporate this at some point. I know we've got about 1,000 different currencies, but if there is a way that we can sell these common masks and berets and get a specific type of currency and trade them in for the masks that we're after, you won't see stuff like that. But speaking of fasnacht, Kat, you actually got to go to fasnacht IRL for the first time. How was that?
I did. It was really surreal. It's clear to me how much time the team spent researching these locations before 76 came out.
Yeah.
You don't need a map. If you've played 76 and you've gone to Helvetia in the game, you don't need a map IRL. It is almost a 1-for-1 layout. It was I think surreal is really the best way that I can put it. I grew up in small country towns, so it kind of felt like home a little bit to me,
Mhm.
which was really nostalgic. But seeing, like, for example, the honey house,
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the house teapot in the window of the honey house in real life.
Really? Even
Kinda
the
like
teapot. That's crazy.
mind-boggling that they included these small details. It was really, really awesome to go.
Yeah, that's one thing that they do so well is they'll actually go and visit these places and take pictures so they can recreate them like one for one. And I've actually looked at these places in like what's it called? Google, like the Google imaging, or that like you can actually go. It's kind of like a map, but it's like a satellite view where you can go and go through these places almost like first person.
Street
And
view.
yeah, they did an amazing job recreating Helvetia. But yeah, I've heard about these places like like going to fasnacht. Like the one thing about Helvetia is you have no cell reception.
This is true.
You can't use your phone to use like Google Maps or something.
You can't use it for it's a brick. You can take photos with it, and that's really about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know, was it last year, Dawn was telling me that they actually rented a house to have a bunch of people in, and they did that again this year. So that is really cool. I really would love to go to one of these big events at some point, whether it's fasnacht or the New Vegas days, like the Fallout days out in Good Springs. Just haven't been able to at some point, but no, it's cool that so what all do they do? Because I've heard it's not exactly like it is in the game.
Yeah, so Okay, so you can walk around the town, of course. They have like the library open. You can go into the library. They have I guess what you would consider the barn that you decorate in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, they have a building like that you can go into, and they've got vendors, selling like Helvetia, fasnacht like stuff. A bunch of people were sitting around just playing instruments.
So,
There was a
basically
group
like
of
the AFKers.
yeah, there were a group of 3 guys playing, like, guitar and banjo, just singing, just sitting around singing, and then there were a bunch of people sitting around them. Um, they have a little general store where you can buy, like, cheese. They sold grilled cheese. They had a little bit of, souvenir type stuff, shirts, mugs,
Okay.
etcetera, in the general store.
Yeah.
Um, of course, the infamous Yellow House. You can go and you can have food there. It's a restaurant.
It's the Baker House in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the community hall, which is the building that is like if you're in the game, the one that's kind of diagonal from the blue house. It's kind of like
Okay.
away from Helvetia a little
Yeah,
bit.
where the Scorched are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
it's almost
the
like an
community.
office with
Yeah, the community house, and they had a bunch of vendors in there, where you could like, homemade goods, wine from wineries in the area, stuff like that. So you kind of just walk around, and explore, I guess, the town. And then in the evening, they have the big parade, just like they do in the game. And they take Old Man Winter. They have a huge Old Man Winter, and they march him down the town.
Oh, so he marches as well.
Yeah, he
Nice.
well, he's carried, but yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure.
The bonfire is located at the community hall, not by the church. So you're kind
Okay.
of walking from the church down towards the Yellow House, and then you go down to the community hall, and that's where the bonfire is. And they make this big deal about it. It was low-key interesting as everyone is chanting "Burn him" for a good, like, 5 minutes.
So the town does that as well. It's not just us.
Yes. So then, yeah, they threw Old Man Winter in, and then some people stayed and threw their masks into the fire, which I thought was really interesting.
Why would they throw their masks?
I don't know.
I think we should
Tradition?
implement that one into 76.
Especially a lot of the common ones, yeah. And maybe that would be how you get your currency is
Yeah. But then, yeah, after
Right.
that, they've got like dancing and music in the community hall, but it's
Okay.
mostly just hang out.
So for those of you who don't know, fasnacht is was it what nationality is it? Is it
Swiss
German
German.
or Swiss German? Okay, and it's basically the celebration of the end of winter, bringing in the spring. So yeah, we're ditching winter into the fire and warming it up and bringing out spring. That's their way of celebrating that, and it's really cool. So how are the locals with this becoming more and more of a fan event?
I didn't get a chance to really talk to many locals. The ones that I spoke to in the general store, they seemed overwhelmed with how busy it was. But they did seem grateful. This is a huge influx of people who are coming to their town, and everyone, for the most part, was really respectful. There was no like trash left behind.
That's
Um,
good.
so I think that kind of stuff makes a difference. We're not there to
Yeah, for
trash
sure.
the
Yeah,
town,
treat
we're there
them
to
well,
celebrate
and
it.
I'm sure they'll be
But
happy
they
to.
seemed cool. I got to eat at the Yellow House, and the waitress was super nice,
I've heard
albeit
some of the local
overwhelmed.
food there is really good.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome. So, yeah, well, like I said, I would really love to be able to go out to one of these. Trying to change my job up. I recently got I got an associate's degree in, so I'm trying to change my job out so I can maybe be able to get some vacation time and go to one of these big events. But
Yeah, really fun.
haven't been able to yet. So The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Vanya, you are known for some of the mods you've been working on, and Kat, you've actually been working on one with him. So how did you get into working in like modding and things like that?
I think it dates back to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 in 2001.
Really?
This is how long. This is how long I've been modding games.
Wow.
It started basically that I looked into the files of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and then I saw that all the textures are just very small PNG files. And so I was like, hey, cool, I can have my own deck. I can have my own face. I can have my own skater and whatnot, you know? And this is how I did basic texture replacements. They weren't any good, to be fair, because I was still like a very young child to a certain degree. But it was something that I liked doing. Later on, I designed a bunch of maps for Battlefield 2. Once they released the BF2 editor, which you will never see from EA ever again, unfortunately. It seems like that they will ever do that again, but it was grand time. And then I worked on Minecraft, I worked on Euro Truck Sim, and I think the most time I spent on the F1 games by Codemasters, where I made a bunch of mods like the female driver mod, a few like season mods and whatnot, like engine overhauls, like all kinds of stuff. Like I really went deep in not only textures but also modeling, a little bit of scripting to a certain degree when it comes to like XML and JSON files. So that kind of stuff, like more like tinkering around basically. And I even hosted back then a F1 series where like the players kind of RPG wise had their own teams, and depending on like, you know, what happened on track, you know, it also influenced like the car performance. So like if they really invested into car performance with like driving many laps and such. So that kind of concept before it actually became then a feature in F1 2016. So it was kind of cool to see that Cody's kind of was aware of that apparently, and also included that into their games. I had a way different handle back then, and I don't like to be associated with it because it was a hateful shit back then. But you know, we all grow older, we all grow wiser at some point, and I'm glad that I turned out the way I did, even though there's always, you know, some room to improve. And then I got very busy in the late 2010s because of my music career. So I barely had time for modding. I only did it slightly on the sideline, tried to keep that series going, which then fell apart, unfortunately, especially since people got banned in the Codemasters games just for simple texture swaps and whatnot. And then the 2020s came, and my music career, of course, was lying in ashes. So both as an event technician and as a musician, I could no longer do anything. And so I did a little bit of streaming, and also joined an indie game studio here from Germany and helped them working on the first game as an environment and level artist, and also as a voice actor, funnily enough, which was a little bit of fun. But yeah, that didn't go so well then in the end. Like a lot of miscommunication, you know, when indie game studios try to get into a proper company, like that step is always the hardest. And I don't actually know if they actually made it, and I should have asked before this podcast. But yeah, I was left out, practically speaking. And so yeah, I wasn't considering doing anything in that sector at all until I was working on the submarine mod for Fallout 4, and that's where I got discovered by other modders like Eleonora, Green Foxel, Captain Ultima, etc., who really motivated me to stay at it, and were like, no, you have a lot of potential, you have a good eye for like level design and whatnot, and you have a good idea for writing. And this is then how I stuck around a little bit, and Foxel was immediately asking me if I want to join his project. And it doesn't have to be big, because the idea of Conquered Stories after all is that you only build like small little cells, you know, with their own little stories. And he showed me basically a few basics of yeah.
What's that one called? Tales from the Commonwealth? Kind of like that, or?
I'm not too familiar with all the mods that exist out there, unfortunately.
But it's one that just kind of adds little things here and there. Like you'll find an NPC and they'll give be a small quest or something like that. Just
Ah,
little
mhm.
random things that you'll come across in the game.
Yeah, what Conquered Stories basically does is it uses the Sims Element 2 repopulation system that spawns stores into pre-existent houses you couldn't like traverse before, like, you know, all those boarded up houses. So a door spawns in, you enter the door, you enter a new level essentially, which is the interior of that house. That's what Conquered Stories does across the entire Commonwealth. And so those stories didn't have to be big. And so I thought, okay, that's something easy I can do. And then I ended up being basically the lead designer at this point,
awesome.
because I just had so many ideas, you know, and I really had a very creative workflow, and the team was really, or what means was, has been really, really cool in that regard as well. And yeah, we sit here now, and I'm very looking forward to it, to hopefully present the final product at the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys were recently on C3. That was really great to see. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys are working on. And Kat, what have you been working on with it?
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled, I think, into it. At the start of last year, I quit my career of 16 years in the library field, and I happened to move at the same time. So I was streaming more. And I want to say it was in one of your streams, Vanya, where you were working in the CK, and I think I made a comment about like wanting to learn um you know what was going on, and so I started talking to Vanya more, and Green Foxel more, Beta Phoenix, and you know the three of them just kind of let me watch and learn what they were doing, and that stumbled into me helping with like social media, posting on Twitter, posting on BlueSky, and then that kind of turned into me just playing around in the CK, and then I just kind of stumbled into something that sparked my imagination, and so now I will eventually have a cell as well, um, in Conquered Stories. Yeah.
I love how much Bethesda embraces the modding community. And
Absolutely.
really,
I hold that dear in every modding stream we do, and there's like so much, especially also in the modding scene, like so much disinfo about that that's spreading around. We always like to remind people, hey, I worked on like over 20 games at this point. No developer ever has been so open about it and so chill and so supportive like Bethesda. From all the developers across all these over 20 games I've been dealing with, nobody has been that supportive. And that is something that you should definitely hold dear. I was going to say hold accountable. I mean, that would kind of work as well as a word, but you know, English. And that is really something that means a lot to me as well, because I've seen it myself of like Polish friends who get sued by EA for modding, and that was like, that ruined their lives, practically speaking.
because see it with Nintendo too. Which
And it's so sad because you need new developers from somewhere, and I think that modders are a very good source, because modding is like this pre-step to professional development, where you can start to develop the necessary skills for it, you know? And also when you work on teams, get the little bit of an understanding how it is working in teams then with like schedules and whatnot. So I think feasing on that is only making sense for everybody, both the developer, but also the creators who start getting into that. So I don't always understand the stance of developers. I understand you don't want to give your assets out, you know, and that's a fair point. You don't want others to like use the assets and sell a new game. But I think Bethesda always has been finding a very good balance in that, and it has been very supportive.
You mentioned Eleonora earlier. You know, she's done so many mods on so many different games, and her name is actually in the credits for Starfield. They actually used her in Starfield for some of the clutter and things like that. That was really cool to see, and she's done stuff with them since then, where she's actually been a verified creator, and you'll see her stuff in the creations menu for Starfield. So really hope that maybe one day you'll be able to go through the verified creators program and start working with them officially. So, any other things that you're working on besides Concord Stories, or
too many
that you're willing to share? Or...
Why too many? So I try to release like a month once a mod. Absolutely, yeah. No, a mod once a month. I didn't do so well in February because migraines, weather shifts are always horrible in February, so that didn't work out. But I have a lot of projects right now, like Macro Expanded, which is an expansion for the northeast area of the map with an underwater vault, with a new settlement, with voiced NPCs and whatnot. That is one very big one that I've been working on for a while. Then, of course, Fallout Iron Curtain, which will take place in Berlin, divided between East and West. So it will be a very, very intense contrast between, the Western world and the Eastern world during that time of the Cold War, of course. And as somebody who kind of knows both sides from like my very central location in Europe and the way I grew up, I feel like I have a lot of things that I can like put in there as well to really make it quite drastic. And then many other smaller projects, like right now the United Commonwealth mod that I work on during my playthrough of Fallout 4 on Twitch. So every stream again, there's something new added, where the Commonwealth gets reunited under the Minutemen together with Sim Settlements 2 and Concord Stories. So yeah, I'm quite busy. I'm happy when I can have a break, because I also have been invited to Shadows of the Old World of Mystic Rogue. There was a little bit of a pause right now. My well wishes go out to Mystic Rogue, who of course had to be absent for a little while. But yeah, I've been kept busy, and
awesome.
I didn't expect it to go that wild right away, that I get so many people directly wanting my talents, because I didn't see myself as such big shot. But kind of people make me feel like I am now, and it's kind of hard to accept that.
Imposter syndrome gets the best of all.
Yeah.
But what about you, Kat? What do you have going on?
Yeah, I'm just keeping on. I'm almost done with my cell for Concord Stories, and then I have to sit down and write some stuff. And then I'm doing some little things, just like making some new like book textures and stuff.
Okay.
And then focusing on social media. But outside of that, I'm just doing, my own little stream thing.
Be glad.
Yeah.
Be glad.
Yeah.
Because I just realized one thing that I obviously forgot, of course, was the Fallout themed F1 series that I also host on occasion on my channel.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that even. See, like, there's just too much going on. It's just very hard to keep track of it.
Yeah, he actually used me as a name for one of the drivers, and that was pretty awesome.
Enrico Soliora.
Before I forget, I wanted to talk about the fact that here in under 2 weeks, we're going to be able to make our character schools in 76. You guys planning on doing that, or?
I'm not, at least at the start. So I tend to play games very vanilla.
Okay.
I don't make a lot of characters. So the character that I have now is my beta character. And I'm very attached to her. I have no plans on making her a ghoul. I think I'm going to watch and see other people's playthroughs, see how I vibe with it, and then maybe make another character who I make a ghoul. I'm very excited for it, mostly because I love seeing the community excited for things.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
definitely stirring up a lot of happiness and yay, and some really great memes as well.
And then people are like,
so
why
that brings
haven't
me more
we
joy.
been able to do this forever?
Yeah. Especially after the show dropped, everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, when?"
Yeah, they gave us the cool outfit and his hat. So, what about you, Vanya?
Well, my motherboard has been a bit troublesome lately, and 76 doesn't run for me beyond 12 frames, basically. I tend to play usually permadeath in 76 on like an own custom world, and from what I understand, you have to be level 50 in order to get to be a ghoul first. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I mean, the average level that people have reached in permadeath over 100 players by now is an average level of level 10. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I may try it on myself, in private, like, off stream sometime. But right now, I think I'm just too busy with all the other projects right now. So I don't know if I can just sacrifice the time for it as I want to.
Yeah, I actually, as soon as they announced it, I made a character on both Xbox and PC specifically to ghoulify, because I didn't think I could do that to my main character, even though it is reversible, and it would be interesting to see what he looks like as a ghoul. I just didn't think that I could do that for him. And my one on PC is a little over level 50. The one I have on Xbox, I think, is level 120. So I was just running around with him. I did the Skyline Valley story with him. I just finished Wastelanders with him. So he's good to go. And he is wearing the ghoul outfit. I of course listened to the Fallout feed quite a bit, and I've talked to Jessica Starr about this. She recently went through the PTS and did all this, and she didn't spoil everything for me, but she was telling me, so like when there's a quest involved, and like you were saying, Vanya, you have to be a level 50 or above. And once you complete the quest, you get to a character creator screen. So you have to kind of like recreate your character. Like, it doesn't just automatically give you the ghoul skin. Like, there's different skin options. You can move your nose around, your nose hole around if you want. There are different hair, like wig options, essentially, that you can give your character. Things like that. And there is a ghoul city. So that'll be interesting. And there is a quest to reverse it if you want, even though they're like, oh, it's why would you no, of course you're going to be permanently a ghoul unless this is some simulation. Why would you think that you can reverse it? I guess there's also some like tattoo options that are specific to ghouls. There's new perk cards. Like, some existing perk cards aren't available to be used anymore, like wet rats, things like that, obviously. There's a feral meter. Like, radiation actually heals you. You have to there's certain things you have to do to keep from going feral, things like that. So it'll be fun. Really looking forward to it. So, and that's what, the 14th, I think, or not the 14th, the 18th. 18th is 18th. When that launches. So very soon after this podcast comes out. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And that is when the new season starts. I don't know if you guys saw some of the rewards, a lot of ghoul related rewards. Like, there's an ultrasight throne, I think, is one thing that people are going to be going for. There's another thing with becoming a ghoul is certain factions won't like you unless you're disguised. And I was kind of told a little bit of what these disguises are. Won't really share too much, but how that exactly works, I have no idea. But one of the things that is in the rewards is that classic, like, glasses and mustache. So, that'll fool a lot of people.
I kind of like that, though, because it's definitely meme worthy, and I think a lot of people are going to go after it. And I don't know, that kind of gives me like early 2010s vibes. Where everybody would like tattoo a mustache on their finger and be like,
also, we're getting a new hot tub, which apparently is filled with like radioactive goo. I don't know. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun to play around in with people. So it'll be fun. I know, if you're not looking forward to being cool, so it's kind of like, why I don't need any of this, but I'm definitely gonna check it out, see how it is, and if I don't like it, I don't like it, but I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, if people wanted to get a hold of you, where would they do that, Vanya?
BlueSky at Just Vanya, Twitch Just Vanya, YouTube Just Vanya, Instagram Just Vanya76, and I think that's all I have due to all the social media clash that has been 2024. We in Europe, of course, had a few platforms we were then temporarily weren't allowed to use, and then we were allowed to use them again, and then suddenly we weren't. it was a whole mess, and I'm just really fed up with it. So I'm kind of hard to reach nowadays. But BlueSky, I think, is the safest bet you can do, and of course Discord, I guess. But Discord usually I block messages right away because bots and whatnot. And right now we don't know if Discord will last. So like things are a bit interesting in that regard.
That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody wanted to find any of those, any more info about these projects, that would be where to find them. And what about you, Kat?
Yeah, so I'm on almost every social media platform, but I think the best way would be Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/Caterella. Most every social media platform, it's just Caterella. If you search Caterella, it shows up. Instagram is kind of different. It's just cat point dreaming. But if you type in Caterella into the search, I do come up fairly up at the top. So, yeah, wherever people are, I usually am.
Yeah, I should maybe also mention Vanya written with W and Y.
Yeah.
I know there's confusion usually, so just Wanya with W because Central Europeans don't know what a V is. So this is why I started writing it with W so they don't say Funya. Because I'm certainly not fun to be around.
No.
Kind of sounds like Funyuns.
Funyuns, yeah.
Funya.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and BlueSky at IanGold08. You can find the show at TFTW Pod on Twitter, and I think BlueSky is Tapes from the Waste. Let me double check that. I should know this. Our BlueSky account is actually pretty new, and I wasn't the one who set it up. I'm sure Kelsey's going to edit this or scream at me or something. Okay, I don't have it linked to me. Anyway, yeah, I think it's Tapes and Waste, or maybe it is TFTW Pod. Kelsey, please let them know. And yeah, he will let you know where you can find him. And yeah, this has been great. It's great having you guys on, getting to chat with you. I think this is the first time we really chatted vocally. So yeah, definitely have to have you guys on again once there is another big update with your modding projects. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thanks for having us. Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor.
Anyway, I am going to pass this back over to Kelsey, and we will see you guys in the wasteland.
All right, see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Eric, Vanya, and Caterella for joining us for Tapes from the Waste this episode. It's awesome to have guests come and speak to us because it's this thing that we said we wanted to do more of, and honestly, we just haven't really, we're terrible at asking people. My kind of default is that people have no interest in being on the show. So why would I bother asking anyone? But if you're listening to this and you love Fallout and you kind of want to come on for a chat, just drop us a message, send us a YouTube comment, a comment on Spotify, and we'll try to hook up conversations with fans as much as we can. We're not going to have just everyone and anyone on because, it's a strange place out there in the real world. But no, I'm kidding. Like, we've always wanted to have guests on, and we have had a few in the past, definitely. Some super awesome high-profile guests as well that have joined us. But you don't need, we're a tiny little Fallout podcast. We don't need big names in the Fallout community. If you just love the thing that we love, come and chat to us. Maybe there's something you want to talk about specifically. Let us know. A certain subject. We can do a whole conversation about it. So I really appreciate our guests today giving up their time to have a chat with Eric and making the show better because of it. So, and yes, that's going to do it for this episode. Of course, as always, come and subscribe to our YouTube channel, come and follow us on your podcast platform of choice. Please leave us a review as well on whatever platform you listen to. Spotify, you can leave star ratings, and Apple Podcasts as well. Leave us comments. And yeah, tell us if you're excited or not excited about the upcoming update to 76, Or what are you thinking about the future of Fallout, the anniversary of Fallout 4, and looking ahead to Season 2 of the TV show and all the wonderful stuff that's going on. Oh, I forgot to say earlier, on my new PC, my first ever game I played on Steam was Fallout Shelter. My first ever Steam achievement was in Fallout Shelter as well, which I thought was quite, poetic. But yes, come and follow us everywhere. We do have a Tapes account on Twitter, which, to be honest, Eric kind of runs these days because I'm on Twitter less and less. I do jump on now and again. And then also we're obviously on BlueSky as well. I believe that just Tapes from the Wastes. And yeah, but it's not hard to find us. Just search in your browser of choice, Tapes from the Waste Podcast, and I'm sure we'll come up. So I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, enjoy your Fallout. Get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about everything you heard today. Till next time, stay safe out there, wanderers.